I don't know.
We don't want to get too deep into that, but that's what happens when you get some of these great drinks here at Junction Bar. They're serving them up, and I think you might have had one or four. No, I'm just kidding. But we are back online right now and on the airwaves, and we want you guys to stay tuned in with us right here on AM 790, or you can listen to us live online right now on the iHeartRadio app on your iPhone or your iPads. And we will be recording this for the podcast that will show up later on sportsraplive.com. We are still closing out the talk for NCAA basketball and get ready to go into some baseball talk.
That's right. So I want to talk about some baseball, some of the games. I think it's pretty whack, Bun, that we had to start the season off with the Japan series, where it's not doesn't even feel right, and then you have that, and then you have it's a one-game series, not game one of a three-game series, but it's just a one-game series that was last night. That was Miami, the Marlins, and the Reds. It didn't really make any sense because then you turn around today and not even the full slates today. It's some of the teams.
You said the Reds, it was the Cardinals.
Oh, that's right, it was the Cardinals.
Look pretty good today.
Yeah, and then then we have some of the even teams following up. Tomorrow is opening day for like the Astros. So I don't know how to make of this. I think that basketball sort of got it right this year by default, sort of. That they had all the Christmas Day games where it kind of got up to this kickoff blast, all these great games.
Exactly.
And baseball today, I really miss the day where it's like everyone, has their game that starts on the same day. We're all on the same playing field. Really, what they should do is start it the day after the NCAA March Madness, the tournament finishes. So do it Tuesday. Don't even let people breathe. If you're a baseball fan, you just get right into it the next day, or you wait for the women's championship and you do it on Wednesday and have everyone start. It's Wednesday. Let's get it going day before the Masters. Because this whole thing where you string it out, it just, it's tough for fans, the casual fan, to get into it.
Well, Andrew, of course, we'll be live on air from 8 to 10 on Sunday night, so we will look at the first weekend. Because after the first weekend, it's you blink your eyes and it's October already.
Yeah.
The summer flies by when baseball season really is the king of the summer.
Well, between exhibition and these different plays that they try to do to try to expand the brand, so to speak, it always starts off a little bit shaky. I think this one a little shakier than most, to be quite honest. But as you say, once we get past that opening weekend and guys start to really getting into what they're doing, and you got to understand that some guys are still not even playing on these full rosters yet. You still got a lot of guys like Carl Crawford who's still not going to be pulled up into the roster. There's a lot of guys that aren't even going to be in the roster until a couple of weeks or even a few months down the line. So, it starts off slow, but, if you love baseball, it's still something good to watch.
And I want to talk about right off the bat, Adam, some of these injuries that have kind of hit the news waves these days that are really major injuries, but I want to talk about just how major they might be or how, maybe they're being overplayed, and that's some closers. We saw Andrew Bailey, who's going to have thumb surgery for the Red Sox. That's going to knock him out for a while, probably until maybe half the season. Carl Farnsworth for the Rays, he's out with a little elbow strain too. He's got a boo-boo. And then you also have Drew Storen for the Nationals. He's going to be out for a while too. So I think, and we also, that's on top of the Kansas City Royals, who are out with their closer for the entire season, Joakim Soria. And I think there's one more. Oh, and the Reds with Ryan Madsen, he's out for the year. So a lot of closers already hurt, and we're not even one day into the season.
Well, you have your eyes on the injuries already, and we have our eyes on the diamond throughout the baseball season, and you can hear all the Astros action from 2012 and their upcoming Root season, their new campaign to get fans excited about coming out to the ballpark this year. You can hear all the action on our own KTRH 740, and we are going to be out there covering all the games all summer long, including tomorrow's opening night at 6:05 for Sports Talk 790.
You and I will be there.
Absolutely. The beat goes on, man. Well, hey, let me ask you first of all. Let's talk about the Astros before we get into some of these other teams and make some of our predictions around the league. Andrew, what are your initial thoughts on this season's team from the fans' perspective, first and foremost?
I think this is time to show if you're a real fan or if you're not. It really is. This is the time. If you're a fair weather fan, go ahead. You don't have to watch the team. Go ahead. Watch other good teams. I don't blame you. If you want to watch good baseball, go watch the Rangers or something. But if you're a really Houston person, you want to stick with this team because these are the lean years. Then you can say, hey, I remember that 2012 season, the 2011 season when the team got turned around, and again, we made the turnaround. Because these are the times that if you're here for these times, when we start winning again, that's going to make those times so much better because you knew these times.
No, absolutely. Like, me, I'm a hardcore Texans fan. So I rode through the lean years. I rode through the David Card episode, so to speak.
God bless you, Bun.
And thank you. And it felt good when the team finally turned around. We got a great quarterback.
It means more to you.
No, absolutely, because I know what we went through. I know what it is that we had to fight through. You know what I'm saying? So I think for Astros fans, I think 3 years from now it's going to pay off. But, ownership is doing their thing to try to get people who are real Astros fans back in, trying to make it a little bit more complimentary to the fans. And I think if you come in now and start it again, get those season tickets, I say now while they're getting this good, and then in 3-4 years from now when this new owner decides to put some, really start making an effort to bring this team up to where we want it to be, you'll be in a good place, I think.
Well, let me ask you now, okay, you've told us from the fans' perspective, as a real baseball guy, somebody who writes for RotoWire.
Break my heart, go ahead.
Yes, give us that perspective.
I think this is going to be probably one of the worst years I've ever seen, mostly because you look at last year's team, and that team had Michael Bourne and Hunter Pence for a good chunk of it, and now you don't. And the thing is that we saw at the end of the season some of these guys like J.D. Martinez and Jose Altuve kind of come up and give a little spark plug to the team. There are none of those guys left in the minor league system. They're really going to come up and give a significant spark to this team. There might be some trades that are down in the pike, down the line that we don't know about yet, where we're going to trade away Wandy, probably Brett Myers, and try and get rid of Carlos Lee. So even as good as the team is now, we're about to get rid of 3 of our other really good players. But there is a lot of hope that could come of what prospects might come through that.
Let's talk about some of the ones that are on the team right now.
Well, I mean, most of the ones that we got in the trades from last season are still working their way through the minors, like Jonathan Singleton and Cozart and some of those other guys. I really don't think many of those guys that are on the next really pennant contending teams are on this Astros team. Maybe Altuve, and maybe Jason Castro, but that's really about it. Like even Jordan Lyles didn't make the opening day roster.
What kind of spring did Castro have?
He had an okay spring. It's mostly about just him getting comfortable and getting back into playing injury-free. And he was playing pretty, got some at-bats at the end of last season, so he'll be fine. I'm not expecting much from him at all, really. I mean, he's not a bat-first catcher. He's a kind of guy that has more responsibilities of managing the staff.
Well, what's going to be considered a successful or somewhat successful season for the Astros? Less than 100 losses? Because that's what everybody else is predicting.
Here's
that's
success.
what I was going to say. Like, how many wins do you predict this season?
I'm predicting at least 105 to 110 losses. Losses. It's going to be that bad.
Wow, you can't even think of how many wins because you're overshadowed by how many losses.
Yeah, it's just the losses.
That's amazing. What's acceptable? What do you think is acceptable considering the players we're losing, considering we haven't really made any real strong pushes?
I think a fantastic year would be to not finish last in the division.
Yeah.
That would be a fantastic season. If you can beat out the Cubs, which are totally rebuilding, that's attainable. That really is attainable. I don't know if the Pirates, because I think the Pirates actually have a little bit better players than we think they have. I mean, that was a team that almost contended through almost the middle of July last year. They were in first place in the division. I'm not saying they'll do it again, but they don't have as many holes as you think they do. The Brewers and the Reds and the Cardinals, that's not feasible. But I think that if they could not get last, that would be pretty interesting. I also think if they can just show, if we can start to have a couple players who we feel confident about that they can be everyday regulars, I think that would be a good progression.
Well, the guys from Baseball Perspective on their Up and In podcast last week were saying 115 to 120.
Yeah, Baseball Perspectives, they were giving it to us hard on that one.
Yeah, but they love them some Jose Altuve, so
yeah,
it's all good. All right, well, let's look at some of the other NL teams and make our early predictions. Let's start in the East. You got Washington, Atlanta, New York, Philadelphia, and Miami. Miami took a tough loss to the Cardinals, who were the World Series champions.
I just want to say I watched a little bit of this Philadelphia lineup today. I was looking at them. It's bad. Look at that lineup. Look what they've lost without Ryan Howard, without Chase Utley. That's a really pathetic. You know who's their best power hitter? Hunter Pence. I mean, it's like Rollins, Victorino,
the Hawaiian.
Yeah, Rollins, Victorino, Placido Polanco, and Hunter Pence, and then after that it falls off. It's like John Mayberry, Ty Wigginton, and Carlos Ruiz. That's not a very good offense. I don't see a reason why Miami or Washington or Atlanta can't win this division. I think it's totally wide open because while Philadelphia has the awesome offense, they don't have the they don't have the pitching, the offense. Same thing with Atlanta. Great pitching, no real offense. I think it's a wide open division.
Anybody but the Mets.
Anybody but the Mets. My bold prediction for the year in the NL was that the Nationals are going to make the playoffs somehow.
That's a good prediction. And I think they'll stay healthy. And maybe they get a Bryce Harper.
Bryce Harper's going to come on late. They're going to lose Strasburg probably at the end of the season because of the innings limit, but I think he's going to be a fun player to watch.
All right. Well, what about the NL Central? Of course, we just talked about the Astros not finishing in last place would be huge for them. Who do you see winning this division?
I think this is the worst division in maybe baseball. because you look at how much talent has left the division. Pujols and Prince Fielder are both gone now. So who's the top dog now? Joey Votto, he just re-upped with the Reds, so he's probably the top dog. Behind that might be Andrew McCutchen. But St. Louis, they're still really good. You know, they're one of those teams like Kansas basketball. You just keep on picking them until they don't win, win anymore. Cincinnati, I think they're going to be much improved with the trades they made in the offseason. I also think Milwaukee's going to do pretty decent, but they're going to have to try and figure out what to do without Prince Fielder. And the last year of Zach Greinke, are they going to be able to keep him? If not, they might have to trade him if they're not in contention.
At the All-Star break. All right, let's finish up with the West before the top of the hour, and then we'll get into the American League after our station identification. San Diego, Los Angeles, San Francisco, Colorado, and Arizona.
I'm going to keep on picking Colorado to finish high until, I'm just so stubborn with picking them. I think Tulowitzki is an outstanding player. Now, I think the Dodgers are very good, but...
You and Ebaldo.
Yeah, well, Ebaldo's gone now. I mean, it's just me and Ulysse Chassin now. I think the Dodgers are still a good team with the parts they have that are starters, but they have no depth. I think as far as San Diego, a good team as far as constructed, as far as pitching and defense for their part they have. I think the top team, though, is probably going to be between San Francisco and Arizona because they're still the teams that have the most experience of being able to do it at least a couple times. San Francisco has the pitching staff. I think Arizona has a lot better offense. I think Justin Upton, I'm picking him as my MVP for the NL.
MVP, that's huge.
Yeah, he's still 25.
I know, he's a young cat. All right, we're going to take it to the top right now. We're going to get a station identification in. We'll let Buku reintroduce us, and we'll start off the second hour like we did the first one right here on Sports Rap Live.
KBME Houston, an iHeart radio station, live from the Bud Light Studios. This is Sports Talk 790.
Yeah. You're tuned into the right place. Where should I begin? Turn on my radio 8 to 10 p.m. Sports Rap Live representing Houston. Thursday and Sunday, your best tune in. 790 on the AM dial. You'll find me listening iHeart radio style. Take a trip around the world of sports. Sound sneaker fiends on the scene, breaking it down, of course. With Adam Rapp, the mouth of the South. Andrew Martinez and the flyest of threads. DJ Gons make the cipher complete. Keeps the show flowing by providing the beat. H-Town Sneaker Summit and the Sneaker of the Week. Plus, Fun B, the Trilogy. The right combination and balance for me. The Rap Pack got they back in the streets. Call in line that you need to know. 713-212-5790. SportsRapLive.com for videos. Hit up yours truly, Buku1 for shows. Load freestyles to get the vibe right on Twitter at Buku1 #ShakeLife. Some compare us to the NBA and talk best show on the turf like Marshall Falk. Run! Tell the world, let it be known that all of the shows better watch the throne. Tell the world, let it be known that all of the shows better watch the throne. Haha.
Y'all are on?
One, F&B culture. Oakland to Houston connection.
Oakland to Houston connection is getting more and more real after the Astros will be in the American League West next year. This is their last year in the National League Central. So we're going to be seeing a lot of Oakland. We're going to see a lot of...
well, I'm not sure the young Astros fans remember, but we used to play in the NL West. Adam, our big rival used to be the Dodgers. Now, that's when I was growing up. I was a little bit younger, but... it's going to be weird, getting to play against not just the Rangers in the division in Oakland, but teams like Seattle. Like, what do we have to do with Seattle and the Angels? We don't have really any affiliation with them, so that's going to be interesting next year. This is the last good year.
Nolan Ryan played for the Angels.
This is the year I hate for me. Let's get all the hate out because I hate the Cubs, I hate the Reds, I hate the Cardinals. So I got to get all these rivalries out of my blood now.
Yeah, get that out your system right now.
You drink a whole lot of haterade?
Yeah, man, like for real. Like I'm sitting right next to you, son. Like, come on.
Next season, who am I going to have beef with? Oh, I don't like the Mariners. What do I have to do with the Mariners?
They're just like little puppies in a window.
You
can't hate on the Mariners.
Yeah. Get the hate out. Get it out. Get it out the system.
Well, speaking of hate, a lot of people were hating on Boston at the end of last season as they've melted down. And it looks like, hey, they started off on the right foot today as the Detroit Tigers melted down and Boston came back to win that game.
Well, I wouldn't even say they started off on the right foot because if you watched a little bit of that game, their bullpen, that was sort of a hot mess in trying to figure out what they're going to figure out then because they just lost, like I mentioned earlier, Andrew Bailey, and they said This is today is going to be, everyone thought it was going to be Mark Melanson, who used to be the Astros closer that we traded over there for Jet Lowry, but then it ended up being Alfredo Aceves, who's now the guy, and it just doesn't seem like they've got that figured out, because today I was watching the game and Melanson got a little bit touched up. Aceves, I mean, he did okay, but it was interesting to say the least.
Oh, Detroit ended up winning that game.
Yeah.
Ah, okay, all right.
Yeah,
so
Melanson took the loss.
Valverde melted down a little bit.
Yeah, he blew the save. He blew the save, which Papa Grande, that guy is just, I thought his water was going to break up there.
Damn. You said he was eating Doritos tacos, right?
Yeah, he probably ate some of those Doritos Locos tacos. He could probably eat a couple bacon
Did he really
dozens.
go there with the Doritos tacos? Did you just go there?
I've had them. They're good.
He's looking for a sponsorship, Taco Bell.
Okay. All right. Well, continue to go there if you can secure the sponsorship. Your executive producer approves.
Although I wouldn't want to run for the border if my last name was Martinez these days.
What is that?
Might not be a good thing.
I don't even.
don't know
You're
what that
between
means.
Martinez and Gonzalez. I don't know if you're going there. Right. I don't know if you
I
should
know I'm
go
in the
there.
middle
Right
here. I shouldn't go there.
Okay, pasa, homeboy.
Yeah, we good. We good.
Hey, you don't even
But
need
either
to
way,
talk
it's been a shaky little ride for Boston lately because of the Carl Crawford injury, and you couple that with they have Cody Ross now playing like a significant role. I'm not sure that that's what Boston fans really want is Cody Ross out there. Look at their lineup today, Adam. At the bottom of it is Ryan Sweeney, Cody Ross, Jared Saltalamacchia, and Micah Vilas.
about. Who?
Exactly.
Who?
And guess who was playing third base? Nick Punto. Little Nicky Punto.
Lil Punto?
Little Nicky Punto. So this whole lineup, I mean, it's
Make sure you say the N.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Thank you.
It's a different lineup. You know, I think Adrian Gonzalez is going to be a Gonz boy. Adrian Gonzalez is going to be a little healthier this year. So we'll see how it goes. I still think this team is in for a little bit of transition until they get everyone healthy.
I think so too. Now let's run down the rest of the division. You talk about these teams: the Yankees, Tampa Bay, who a lot of people are, I don't want to say that they're an underdog because they're not. They've been around now for a good, 5, 6, 7 years. But you also have Baltimore in that division, which will allow Tampa Bay and the Yankees.
I think Tampa Bay is probably the most exciting team within that division, mostly because they have a phenom this year, another pitching phenom, Matt Moore. They had one last year, they won the AL Rookie of the Year. But I think it's an interesting team that's still in transition. It's going to be interesting see what they do with BJ Upton if they're not in contention. I think Toronto has a lot of talent still that's up and coming. They still got Joey Bats. It's going to be interesting to see what happens to that division because this is the best division in all of baseball by far.
Joey Bats go deep today?
He did.
Yeah.
Like he does.
Just picked up where he left off.
Yep.
No doubt, no doubt. Okay, let's run through the Central. Now, once we get done running through the American League, we'll go back to the National League. I want you to give us your early picks, your surprises, your sleeper team. So the AL Central, Andrew, Cleveland, Chicago, who the Astros just saw this week.
I think this is pretty much Detroit's division to win, and then after that, it's who's going to finish in second. I see scenarios where it could be Cleveland. They did pretty well for last year for a while. I think there's a scenario where even Kansas City, with some of their young up-and-coming talent, they could finish in second. I think it'd be pretty much a stretch to see Chicago or Minnesota, mostly because they're just very incomplete teams with the amount of talent level they have and the kind of offseason they've had. Now, if Morneau and Mauer were healthy for the whole season, I might change my tune, but it looks like a really down season for both those organizations.
But second place in the AL Central doesn't get you nada.
But it would be a really big stepping stone for the Kansas City team who's hosting the All-Star game this year. That would be a huge step for those Kansas City fans who haven't had a winning organization in quite a while.
And to be in the mix at the All-Star break like the Pirates were last year.
Yeah, just to know that you're fielding a winning squad. You're going to win more games than you're going to lose.
All right, well, let's finish off with the Astros' new division in 2013. That is the AL West. Now, you joked about Seattle and Oakland. The Angels in Texas, it's really their divisions to lose.
It really is a division as to who's going to finish it first. I still think you have to take Texas because for all the strides that the Angels made with getting Pujols and getting C.J. Wilson, I still don't like that offense very much. Who is their second best hitter on that offensive team? I mean, Torrey Hunter. We'll talk about his, running through the law and miscommunications if you want to, but I don't really know who their second best hitter is. Maybe Howie Kendrick. It's a team
we
that's
talked about Kendrick Morales coming back.
Yeah, he's going to have a bounce back year, and Mark Trumbo might contribute as well. But it's tough to figure out how they're going to really generate a lot of runs. I think Texas, though, when adding Yu Darvish, he could maybe even be. I heard him projected to be. Keith Law picked him to be possibly the AL Cy Young winner. So
Nomo.
I think he's a lot better than Nomo. I think he's the world's leaps and bounds better than Nomo.
Nomo won one in the day, didn't he?
I don't know that he won one. He won a Rookie of the Year, I think.
Okay, Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, but I think that Texas is still the team to beat. I really hope that they can get over the top and win a title either this year or in the coming years.
You want to touch on a story about Texas Rangers. Last year they had kind of a tumultuous year. Josh Hamilton had a little trouble. after the season ended, and then, there was the horrific story of the fan who was trying to get a ball for his son, fell out of the stands, and now they dedicated the statue to this man, and his son will forever. He was a firefighter. He was, a great man, a great father from all accounts. But this statue will forever be in front of Ranger Stadium for his son to see.
Yeah, it's a sad story, but it's nice to see the Rangers memorializing, what was a tragic event, and they were true fans. They were trying to jump for a ball. So it's nice to see that they're actually going to keep that in memory for everyone else to see.
Very nice, very nice. Hey, very nice that Matt Jackson's checking in from the Big Show in the morning. Shout out to Matt. How are you, sir? MJ4 Sports on Twitter. Make sure you guys follow him. And, they had us on yesterday morning. We had a good time seeing those guys and stopping by, telling them a little bit about our New Orleans trip. But let's get back into some baseball. All right, so for the American League, since we're already here, why don't you give us some of, first of all, give us your sleeper team, and then who you think will actually come out of the American League. I know it's way early. Predictions are kind of ridiculous in April, the first week of April, but just for kicks and giggles.
Yeah, because you always think analytically. I want to hear what's in your heart. You're so statistically bound.
Well,
I want to see who he's going for.
The funny thing is, Bun, is that he'll probably be right. We'll be sitting here in October and we'll be like, oh yeah, remember Andrew called it in April?
Oh, without question.
I think you really can't pick a sleeper team out of the AL East because they're all sleeping giants, sort of. If I were to pick Toronto to say they're going to have a great year, they already have so much pitching, so much offensive talent that would kind of be, it would be kind of bold, I guess, say, for them to win the division. I think if you want to look for a real sleeper team here, maybe, just maybe, Seattle.
Oh, please.
Hey, they've hung around before. They've hung around before.
Where's Andrew Martinez? I thought we had the Martinez report.
I look to the left because the guy on the right is not familiar anymore.
Seattle.
I said, hey, this is a team that can contend to win a division. To maybe flirt with 500 like the Indians did last year.
I asked him to speak with his heart, not his mind.
They're not going to. This is not a team that's going to win the division or win the World Series. I'm talking about a team that's kind of below the radar that could bubble up to the surface and be a story for a while.
But you're not going to go to Vegas and bet on that, right?
I probably might pick them to win the division like out of nowhere because the odds are going to be so much in my favor. 50-1 or something like that. That's a kind of a long shot out. You want a sleeper? That's a sleeper.
Okay.
It might stay asleep. It might stay asleep.
That's a legitimate long bet.
Absolutely. And I hope the Hatchet Man's out there listening because this is inside information from the baseball world from Andrew Martinez.
You going to bet another car wash?
No. Okay. Not that one.
We'll get into that. We'll get into that later on when we talk some NBA. All right. Well, who's your favorite then in the American League?
I think my favorite in the American League is it's probably still the Yankees.
See, he's thinking with his mind now.
Yeah. The Kings stay the King. They're going to score so many runs. It's going to be ridiculous. They're going to have depth. They're still going to be able to trade for talent and go out and buy talent at the deadline. And, they do it every year. I think Boston is still going to work through their situation with their new manager, with Bobby Valentine. I think that Tampa Bay probably doesn't have enough resources to go out there at the deadline and make moves, significant moves. They might have to trade B.J. Upton at the deadline. So I think that they're the one that has the most resources and is best equipped to make a long run.
Who spent the most money in the American League East in the offseason?
Ooh.
I know the answer. I'm just curious if you know.
I think it's probably...
it's not the Yankees or the Red Sox if I'm asking you the question.
Right. I don't know that Toronto made that many moves in the offseason.
It's Tampa.
Okay.
Tampa. Yeah, the Rays. They
went out and got Luke Scott, and they went out and got Carlos Pena back.
Absolutely. They spent some money. All right, let's jump up before we go to break. Let's jump up to the National League. Give us your sleeper real quick.
Sleeper?
Don't say the Astros or you're really done for the night.
I'm going to go to sleep.
No. The Astros are on like some... The Astros are on some Sominex or something. They're on one of those sleeping pills, some Lunesta. I think a real sleeper team in here, like I picked them earlier, is the Nationals. I think the Nationals could contend and possibly win one of those two spots that we now have in the playoffs. I can see them winning because they're going to get a late season, I think, boost, you would say, from Bryce Harper being in their lineup. No one knows what he's going to do when he gets unleashed on the National League pitching. I think they have a decent enough offense.
I think they do, and they're going to tell him not to unleash that way.
I think they have a decent enough offense, and they have a decent enough pitching staff. And I really think they also don't have anything to lose. Like, they're young enough, and they're just kind of fun-carrying enough that Steven Strasburg and Bryce Harper, why can't they go out there and start dominating? The time is now.
Who's the favorite?
I think the favorite in...
It's tough, isn't it?
It is pretty tough.
Yeah.
I think the favorite is still probably the Phillies, mostly because that pitching staff is just nasty. You still have Cole Hamels. You still got, Halladay. And if they can get Roy Oswalt back in the fold, I mean, that's a pretty formidable staff. So
there it is.
When they get healthy at the end of the season, make the playoffs, Adam, and they have Ryan Howard back, they have Utley back, they have all the guys back, all their ducks back in a row, I think that's going to be the team that everyone's going to be saying, I don't want to play them.
All right, well, nobody wants to play us. I don't understand why, but that's all right, because we're going to keep rocking here on Sports Rap Live. When we get back, you know what time it is. It is going to be 9:18 on a Thursday night. That means the Sneak of the Week with Kadoma right here on Sports Rap Live.
Shoot.